TV and I look over.
Hi, everybody. Hi. So welcome to episode 6. Let me get out of the glare. Booze and Art.
Hi.
It's at me,
Oh.
not you.
Why is
So I am with lovely friends and we're about to have dinner. So I'm gonna this may be a little short. Next week may be a little weird too because I'll be at Lucidity Festival, but we'll see more about that later. So everybody, hi everyone, can wave. Hi, yay. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about everybody's favorite topic, vodka. I'm gonna use this wine bottle to. Oh, should I go outside? I'll go outside. You can all watch me. Oops. Sorry. I know. Okay, well, I have to get set up. I'm not in my normal place. All right. We're going to talk about vodka today. Vodka. Yay. So vodka is everyone's favorite / not favorite topic ever. Vodka. So much to say. So little time. So this is Spirit Works Vodka. I work for Spirit Works. Oh, God, that smells so good. So I wouldn't normally say that about vodka ever because vodka normally doesn't smell like shit. So vodka is a really interesting spirit because normally, like if I were some big giant vodka company, I would be like, I distill my vodka like 11 times and then I filter it through a diamond in a yak's ass. And that would be true because that's exactly what they do. They have a giant still and it's a continuous still. So you put whatever their raw ingredient is, which vodka technically can be made out of anything from shoe leathers to strawberry.
What about potatoes?
And potatoes and wheat and everything under the sun. But it has to be distilled up to 190 proof. 190 proof is 95% alcohol. So alcohol is ethanol. There's a bunch of other types of alcohol, but 100 like pure alcohol is the molecule ethanol. So it has to be distilled up to 190 proof. You can be made out of anything. So our vodka for Spirit Works vodka generally is made out of red winter wheat that's grown in Sacramento. So it is the whole grains come in. It's milled, mashed, fermented, and distilled at the same time, which means milling. Milling is, I'm just going to smell this while I'm talking. I always talk this fast. Milling means turning into flour. Mashing is then adding water to that flour, so you create a mash. Then you ferment it by adding yeast, and yeast eats all of those, like I think of it like Pac-Man, right? So like you get, the grain is a carbohydrate train, and we break up that carbohydrate chain so that the yeast, when it comes, can eat the carbohydrates, and then it poos out alcohol on the other end. So when you have alcohol, it's really yeast poo. You can think about that for a minute. So then once you have enough yeast poo at a certain percentage of alcohol, then it goes into the still. Still is basically like a giant copper pot with like a lid on it that has like a hose. And then that hose is connected to a giant like tall column. And so that tall column is what allows us to... okay, backtrack. So when you put everything into the giant copper pots, you turn it on and it boils. So distillation is kind of the art of boiling. So it's boiling, and then all of those, like, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Alcohol boils at 70 degrees Celsius. So, like, it's all bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. It thinks, it's like 50, 60 degrees Celsius, like shit, like the steam starts coming up and over through that swan's neck, it's called, and then it goes up through the column. So that first kind of stuff that starts coming out before 70 degrees Celsius, that's called the heads. That's bad news. It's literally acetone. That's why if people make this stuff at home and they don't make proper cuts, you go blind. So, not good. Bathtub liquor, not good. But then at 70 degrees Celsius, it's... Yeah, like nail polish remover is acetone. So then at 70 degrees Celsius, like ethanol actually boils. So that is pure alcohol. That's the good stuff. It's called hearts. And then, so that goes, and then after that it starts boiling, like it's like, 75, 80, whatever, up until 90. The rest of that business is called tails. Thank you. I can do this. It's called tails. Tails is also funky. It smells like feet. And bananas, if you've ever had whiskey that smells like bananas, you're smelling the tails. Good for whiskey, bad for vodka. So back to vodka. Vodka, this is a single distilled vodka. This is not Spirit Works regular vodka. This is actually a rye vodka. So again, you can make vodka out of anything. And it smells delicious because it's single distilled. So no 11 distillations, no diamonds, no yak's ass, no nothing. It's just single distilled, so that means it went from grain through, like milled, mashed, fermented, through the still to make low wines. We'll have a whole other conversation about what distillation is later. But low wines is kind of like step one. That just basically means you separated the like solid material from the alcohol. So then the alcohol then goes back into the still and you distill it once. But remember, it has to go through a really tall rectification column that allows like all of those ethanol molecules to get separated out from like all the water molecules and all the other like bad molecules. And then it keeps 95% of those ethanol molecules and it comes out the other end, and this is basically what it is. So this is super delicious. I'm going to pour me a little bit in this like beautiful wine glass. And
nice
on this
ice cube.
nice ice cube. Yeah, you know, like people always ask, like, how do you drink your spirits? I'm like, I put an ice cube in it and I drink it. I don't make cocktails. Because if it's a good spirit, you don't need to like fuck around, you know? So, just like whiskey, like you just put a big ice cube in it, it's delicious. This stuff, like I just love it cold. So you can make a martini out of it, you can make whatever you want out of it, but I like actually tasting what it tastes like. And this stuff tastes delicious. So, okay. So it smells, I think this smells like marshmallow fluff. And it kind of tastes like marshmallow fluff, like a lot to me. But so the wheat vodka like smells and tastes a lot like vanilla, but this has that kind of marshmallowy thing to it. Yeah, it's got a little bit of like brininess, like marshmallows, like more of like a what's it called, like a s'more. Like, you know, so toasted marshmallow on the flavor and then the fluff on the nose. Anyway, so that's lovely.
How do you feel about camping?
Camping? We'll talk about that later. We're going to get to camping later because I'm going to be camping.
Well, she said s'mores.
I know. I need to bring this camping. That's a good idea. Okay.
Yummy.
So, now, next. So I talk about the booze first and then the art. I have an audience this time. Okay, so this is a painting we're going to talk about, and because I'm not at home, this is how we're going to do it today.
Sorry, super distracting.
So, this is my painting. It's called Modern Goddess. And I have quite a bit to say about this one. So I have an entire, it's in plastic, that's why it's shiny. Are you guys watching? Are you guys on your phone? You're not even on your phone.
Actually.
I know. Okay, so like tune in on your phone. Come on. Okay, so this is Modern Goddess.
We're watching you on Facebook
Thanks,
Live.
Andrew. I know. They're watching me live on Facebook Live, on live. And, all right, I'll stop. Okay, so Modern Goddess. This is so it doesn't look like a lot of my other pieces because it's not like it's on canvas, but it is more drawn. So I do a lot of drawings and stuff, so I'm sure you've seen on my regular Facebook posts, but we'll talk about some of this stuff a little bit more. So I love using pen and ink, and I love using gouache. Gouache is kind of this really amazing material that's kind of like watercolor and kind of like acrylic, like had a baby. So it's a little thicker, but you can still do watercolory kind of things to it. And pen and ink literally is like an ink well with like a dip pen, and like you can't erase it. And I never trace stuff like this with pencil first. I just kind of go for it, and whatever like mess up I do, it has to be part of the thing. So that's how it keeps me honest. It helps me with my regular paintings, it helps me with my drawing. So it's like I have to go for it, and I just have to trust the fact that I know how to do it. So it's kind of a really cool meditative practice at the same time as actually like being a really good art practice. So pen and ink, I dip the pen into the ink and then I draw this, and then I went back with gouache and colored it in and went back with an ink over top of some of it to kind of bring back some of the intense black lines. So Modern Goddess is a painting kind of about what a contemporary goddess's symbols would be. So in ancient days, right, goddesses always had like, so like Athena, no, let's do Diana. Diana always had like her bow and arrow. She had like a hunting dog or a wolf and like a moon and like maybe like a deer, you know, like, so those are her like symbols. So what does a modern goddess have today? Well, if you grew up in the 80s, like I did, you have the Auryn as your symbol. And the Auryn is from Neverending Story, duh. And that is around her neck. And so the Auryn from the Neverending Story is kind of like, it's a symbol of hope. It's a symbol that fantasy and reality isn't what you think it is, it's what you want it to be. And I think that's a really interesting idea anyway, that like the never ending story is because we make our own stories all the time, and it continues that way. And so that's the Auryn, right? So she has dream catchers kind of around her hair. And dream catchers, I feel like, are unbelievably overused and kitschy, and I kind of love them because of that. So that's why they're included, because they have gone past whatever meaning they potentially had in the first place as an actual symbol of like spirituality, and have gone into some sort of like, you know, Coachella festival like bitches like hardware. So that would be a symbol of a modern goddess. The two, like those are two hawk skulls. Skulls, I think, have a similar sort of like kitschy standard in contemporary art, where they are unbelievably overused as a symbol of like, you know, not imperfection. What is it when impermanence? Thank you. As a symbol of impermanence, I mean, sure, that's obvious, but like still, you know, I mean, we can overdo it. So it's overdone as far as I'm concerned, but they're still fucking cool, so they're in there too. So as far as like an ancient modern kind of connection, the bull horns, bulls were always used as a symbol of the goddess because the horn looks like a phase of the moon. So that kind of half moon phase means, and the moon as a symbol of the goddess is about obviously women's moon cycles or their periods, and the fact that the women also have a cyclical nature just like the phases of the moon, and it's actually controlled by the phases of the moon in the same sort of way as the tides are, so that women are actually totally in concert with Earth and the phases that the earth goes through and the rhythms of the push and pull of the tides and everything else that happens. So that's kind of a modern and an ancient symbol, is the bull's horns. Of course, the My Little Ponies in there. I have been a My Little Pony fan since the day I think they came out, as far as I mean, they came out in 81. I was born in 81. But, like, pretty much since I understood My Little Ponies were a thing, like, I was into it. Those are the contemporary My Little Ponies. That is Rarity, and that is Fluttershy, and that is The Friendship is Magic. But I also use My Little Ponies in their original 1980s form as well, so I kind of go back and forth. Because My Little Ponies, I feel like, are kind of like a long-standing symbol as well for friendship, for camaraderie, for awesomeness, and yeah, and constant rainbowness. We'll talk about constant rainbowness soon. I'm gonna have a sip of vodka. It just gets better. So, all right, Pikachu. What is the Pikachu about? And then what does the Pikachu have in its tummy? So Pikachu, of course, is from Pokemon. And I always... I don't see it. So, okay, we'll close that. But now I can see my nose. Okay, so Pikachu is, of course, from Pokemon. And Pokemon is a really interesting... I mean, obviously it came out, like, last July. And was, well, the new game, Pokemon Go. And was, like, a sensation, right? I mean, I played it obsessively. I still play it. But, like, Pikachus are really, like, the hard-to-find Easter egg, right? Because you need 50 fucking Pikachus to evolve a Pikachu. No one on the planet is ever going to find 50 Pikachus. I mean, if you put everyone's Pikachus together, I'm sure there's only like 200. So it's really this essence of like, but really all you want is the Pikachu. All I want, I don't care about like a Dratini. I just care about the Pikachus, but I will never find them because they are they are the ones that you can't attain, right? So there's always this thing in life that like you want, but you can't ever get to it. But it's the goal and it's the process of trying to find it that matters. So it's really like the journey of attainment is what is important about that thing that you want. So it's not actually the item, because if you actually got that thing, you'd probably be disappointed. But wanting it is a really interesting like process, and getting it and working towards it and finding it. So Pikachu to me is that thing that you can't ever get, but you want, but it's really about the journey to get there that's important. So it's got a little, like here, I'll close up. So it's got a little jewel in its tummy, and that jewel has a snake eating its tail. So that snake eating its tail is an ancient alchemical symbol, and probably an even more ancient symbol past that, which it is actually, but it's also used in alchemy quite a bit. It's called an ouroboros, and it's a snake eating its tail, and it means eternity. And eternity, as far as the snake goes, snakes, exactly like I was talking about, like the phases of the moon, snakes always also have a representation of shedding their skin and birthing anew. And because they're eternal in that way, that they can kind of shed their skin, but they can all be born afresh and still be the same being. So a snake eating its tail is that continuation that it will never end. So in that never-ending process of finding and looking for something that you may not ever attain, the awesome friendships and the amazing camaraderie you'll have throughout the phases of the many times of your life, you will catch your dreams, and you will always have hope for writing your own stories. That's Modern Goddess. Awesome. So that's what this is about. And then vodka. And so next week, I will be at Lucidity Festival in Santa Barbara camping. I think I could probably do a live video if I have internet connection. If not, we will figure something out. So stay tuned. But hopefully next week we will have another episode at some point on that Sunday. I might have like an evergreen backup episode that may or may not be live, but we'll figure it out. So everybody have a wonderful week. Happy Sunday, and I'm going to go have dinner. Awesome. Cheers. Bye. Thank you. Yay.